right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. Friends, we are back to playing Fragged Empire tonight. And they're all a bunch of nerds because we were talking about eyesight ahead of time. And look at all these glasses wearing I'm just kidding. I wear contacts. That's all. That's all it is. I have terrible. I figure, well, let's see. Does everyone know their prescription? Like, do we know our prescription? We can compare them. Yeah.
Wait, are we on stream?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Did you not?
Nope.
Don't see
Feel free to speak your
anything.
mind. You don't got to stress it.
What? Are we, what?
Oh, I
So-
don't see us.
Real life.
Yes, we are.
Real
You're
life.
freaking
Well,
me out,
as
my
long
Trey.
as, like,
That's because
everybody
you're
else can see
blind,
it.
my Trey. Okay?
That's
Gotta get better.
entirely possible.
That's what you get with your cheap Canadian glasses.
Cheap Canadian glasses.
You know what? Fair enough.
Oh, goodness.
Eating bitter's fun.
Yeah.
I
It
do
is.
know my prescription to answer your question, Jeff. I do
How about-
know my
what do you got?
prescription and my astigmatism.
I have astigmatism too. What eye is yours in? Do you
You know
have them
what?
both?
And I'm pretty sure it's both. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's both.
My left eye, terrible. Which means like my contacts never fit. Like my contact in my left eye always starts to go really bad because it doesn't sit quite right. It's terrible.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's really annoying. But I still would rather do that than wear glasses all the time because my eyesight's so bad.
I have to wear
It's
glasses
just-
because I wear a lot of makeup in my waterline, so I can't do contacts because like
Okay.
I'd rather have darkened eyes.
Yeah, I used to be like that too. That's why I quit wearing all my makeup and I just
Fair
I go
enough.
all
That's
natural.
fair.
And then I get told I got told by students, I was telling them ahead of time, I got told by students today, I have young energy. So I'm having a good day.
Energy.
Have a good day. Now it's time to ruin it. It's time to ruin the day. All right. Shall we get started? We ready to go? I think we're going to dive right in. I warned them that I have been studying spaceship combat. So at some point before we end our campaign with Friday, we're going to try it. It might be the end of the campaign because one of us blows up the other. But it's going to happen at some point. All right. So last time around, Zatek, you started Zatek's business, a business focusing on something. I don't know what. You signed a bunch of documents that ultimately took on all of the debt and financial responsibilities of this little freaking Kaltorian swindler by the name of Jacob Flint, or at least that's the name he gave you. So anyhow, that's what Zatek did. Dr. T
I'm
and
sure it's an
Kill,
honest mistake.
it probably was. Dr. T and Kill, you ate some cake and you agreed to a new job at the Nephilim Embassy. You committed the Posh Chad to escort Deacon Ottawa and their personnel to the Kasuf system, which is a pirate-infested system with a very distinct lack of lay dust. It's a very dangerous system, in fact. And departure, you agreed to 48 hours from now. So there's that. And we also met their other, their attaché, emissary Winnipeg, and their main security chief, was it Saskatoon? Was it
Saskatoon, yeah.
I think it was Saskatoon. So stupid. Let's see. It's just fantastic. Jita and Maya, you attended an art gallery for the artist formerly known as Deo, a Twyfar, who, oh boy. Then you met Sanvi, Maya's mom, who was disappointed in what Maya did that morning at Octanto Corp, but was nonetheless very supportive and happy to see you, and also encouraged you to get back out there. So you went out into the gallery and started networking immediately. It was a little dicey, but you got some starting to get your feet wet again. Rest of the crew, you eventually joined them at the gallery, for better or worse. Worse is pretty much it. You all looked at some art, you listened to some impromptu poetry, and this all caused a bit of embarrassment. Eventually, Kill and Sanvi, you had a moment. Sanvi wasn't particularly pleased with you, shocker, and stressed the need to keep Maya away from Darcy Octanto, since you couldn't seem to complete your other task that you were assigned. And then events concluded with Zatek coming face to face with some sort of corp financial regulator or debt collector who received reports about economic malfeasance perpetrated by Zatek's business. And so they notified that they are going to repossess the Posh Chad to pay some of those debts off because you said that the Posh Chad was in your name. So you knocked over a piece of art and you fled the scene physically. And some people followed. And that was last session. Anyhow, go ahead, restore your grits, and we can get started. I think what we're going to do, we're going to kind of do some montaging here as we have a 48-hour window before you all are scheduled to leave. You all have things to prepare for. So a couple things about the Kasuf system is going to take you a significant amount of time to get there. You have to travel into the Liberty Belt within the system here, within Haven, to get to the jump gate, and then you got to go into the jump gate, and then it's going to be like a 2-week ride in the jump space, and then you're going to pop on out, and then you still have weeks of travel to get all the way out to Amnesty Station, where you're being taken to, and you don't get to do a lot of that with jump drive technology because you don't have lay dust to work with really in the Kasuf system. So you're going to be gone for a while. And so there's going to be your resources, repairs, maintenance, whatever it is that you basically need. So we're just going to go kind of around and let's just sort of montage like what people are doing. Sometimes we might do a skill roll, sometimes we might not, depending on what you're doing. But let's do like one at a time. Give me one thing that you've been doing either to tie up your own personal business or to prepare the ship for this lengthy bit of travel. And we're going to start with the CEO of Zatek's business, Zatek. So Zatek, what's something you've been doing in the last 48 hours?
Yeah, probably get into the ship as fast as possible to make sure that we still have it.
Okay.
And the other thing, I want to fire off an email or the equivalent of to Flesh Inc. to request a purchase of a Flesh bot at some point.
Okay. All right. That was one of the potential rewards of helping out Deacon Ottawa, is that they have connections, as Flesh Inc. is controlled by the Nephilim, so they might be able to gain access to it.
Get it in there early.
Okay, so you send out and you sign like Zatek's business and stuff. You immediately get a response that they are not comfortable doing business with such a fraudulent and blacklisted business known as Zatek's business. Once you have cleared up your various legal troubles, please contact them again, and they might be able to do business with you. However, the other thing, when you get back to, was it Alabaster 5? I think we were parked at.
I think so.
And
sounds right.
I think that's right. You head over to the port where you guys have been parked, and you see that there are all manner of like notices up. Like you can see there's essentially a boot on some of your landing struts. You can see that there is like this big like yellow and red like holographic cordoned off, like not letting you get back onto your ship. And you can see there's a series of regulators and officials, all very serious looking, that are kind of inspecting the Posh Chad and kind of taking sort of measurements. You can even see a few of them are trying to take a torch and try to forcefully open up the ship. So what do you choose, Zatek?
Okay. Don't like all that.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to radio in because this is close enough to probably reach Sateus, who's on the ship, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'll be like, hey, Sateus, has anyone been on board that's not us recently?
Yes. There has been a regulator from the Corp claiming that ownership of the Posh Chad is being transferred from your crew to a separate entity.
Yeah, crazy. So are you able to like move the ship or do anything from where you're at? Like, do you have any control over the ship?
I vented the atmosphere to make them evacuate the ship. Then I have locked the ship so that they cannot get back inside. I can currently sense that they are trying to forcefully cut into the hull in through the cargo bay doors to try to enter the ship.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We're working on getting that all sorted out, though. I did some paperwork a little bit wrong, and but it'll get fixed. 1 sec. And then, how many people are there like trying to get into the ship?
Let's see. There are 5 different people here, scattered about. Like some of them you can see are like doing measurements. Others are like someone's got what looks like the equivalent of a cutting torch and trying to cut through the physical locks on the cargo bay doors.
Okay. At this point, I think I want to like duck behind a box or something and pull up like the comm to call us or like to call the group.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have it like pointed back so they can see the ship.
Okay. Who do you think? The rest of you, which one of you thinks you would be willing to answer right now, or not busy doing something else? So who would answer?
I mean, I was actively asked by Sanvi not to be anywhere on the main area.
Okay.
What does the message say anything, or is it?
I'm like ringing everybody right now. It just says help.
If it's just a call with no context, Maya is not. If you say anything, she probably will. But I don't think he has learned his use your words lessons.
I think there'd be like one ping of just help in the group chat, and then a call from me. That's just ringing out to everybody.
Okay, so I heard Kill. Kill, you're going to answer the call. Is that right?
Sure.
Dr. T, are you going to? No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
If it's help, then the call, then yes.
Okay.
Gita, were you going to answer?
If he's well enough to send a text, he doesn't actually need my help.
That's an excellent point. Okay, so we're gonna roll with Kill for now, and maybe we'll loop in Maya in a moment.
Oh, no.
So we'll start with Kill. Kill
Okay.
assumes Zatek debriefs you on everything that I just described going on. What does Kill do at this point?
So I was like reading through, like sometimes you can use leadership kind of as an intimidation sort of thing. And he wants to just kind of walk up on some of these people, just presenting himself as if he has some amount of authority, even though he doesn't really. And just kind of like politely intimidating. He's like, I want to see where you show me the proof that you verified ownership before you accepted his signature. I need you to show that to me. You do understand how we handle defending our property where I'm from, right? You realize until you prove you've actually verified he was the owner and signed over, you're stepping on my property, and I am rightfully armed and glad to defend my property until you verify you've done this appropriately. Can you show me that proof right now? Can you show it to me right now? Because if you can't, I need you to step right the fuck over there.
So we see like the supervisor, not even one of like the tech people that is actually operating the cutting torch, but we see just some like little pencil thin supervisor looking up at you as you start with saying like, you know, like we've taught like how the Legion defends their property, and you can see like at first he felt kind of like in charge, but then as you start to ask questions, he kind of wilts and wilts and wilts. Go ahead and roll a leadership test for your intimidation here.
Yay!
Difficulty 12 is fine. This is just a stall. This is a good stalling tactic, I think.
I will use a grid on that because that's a very, very disappointing roll. That is so much better.
Okay.
Okay.
What are we looking
that'll
at?
be 10, 14, 17.
17. So that's gonna be 4 over unintended or unexpected consequences. So as you start at first you're just basically intimidating to look at, and you're standing really close to them, and they're much smaller than you, and they're looking up at you. You're making threatening gestures, but you're not like outright pointing a gun at him or anything like that. But like you're making threatening gestures, and he's starting to wilt and wilt and wilt. And then you ask like really good questions about, did you verify ownership and everything like that? And then he starts going through his documents and paperwork, and he's like, it looks as though some of the transferent packets were not properly transmitted. So I apologize for the inconvenience. We will go ahead and take care of that as soon as possible. But the the hold on the ships it's not. We're gonna keep that in place so that the station won't allow departure.
You want to take that up with the Nephilim Embassy. They are obviously they've already hired this. I'm sure you want to deal with their diplomatic immunity nonsense.
Well, That's an excellent. Have they hired the ship or have they hired the crew?
Package deal.
Package deal. And do you have contract language that actually reflects the package?
I do. It's got some weird references to cake, but I'll be glad to forward that to you. What's your email address?
They say John _ Montana at hotmail.com.
I love that even now Hotmail somehow
still exists. Humanity
become now
doesn't.
the predominant email of this posh location.
The resurgence. Oh gosh. Oh, look at that. Okay.
Like Hotmail and somehow fax machines will be the only two technologies.
Oh, nice.
So, Kill, what I'll say is you have bought yourself some time, and so he turns around and he gets his crew to back away from the ship, and they're all like, what the hell's going on? What's happening here? Because they're not union, whatever. Anyhow, they're basically getting and you see like there's flesh robots and stuff that were probably part of the labor, and they're kind of getting pulled away, and so like you have some time before like the process might come up again.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or
it was
not
just a stall tactic.
It's definitely a stall tactic. Yeah, but at the very least, like you can get access to your ship again, so that's not a problem. Like they back away, they leave you alone, they leave up like that. Like there's still sort of a flag on the ship in terms of leaving, but but you can easily gain access to your ship. Okay, fair enough.
Help me with this boot.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry.
But it's real cool that you did make yourself a business like that. You did that in a day, and
right. I bet this is a mistake. It was a lot of paperwork, so I bet some of it he got mixed up with his own stuff. That's probably why we have all of his debt and financial responsibilities and illegal business dealings and stuff.
That what? Maybe you're right. In fact,
yeah.
I'm really curious about being a businessman myself. So the next time you find out where he is, you bring me along because I want to learn more too.
Oh, okay. I'll see if I can get a hold of him while we're waiting.
That'd be great.
Okay, so as the tech goes off and you can get back on your ship, you start trying to hunt down Jacob Flint. Let's kick it over to Maya. What's one thing Maya has been trying to accomplish in the 48 hours before departure? I'm going to assume everyone's been shared the details about the job. Like you have a job in 48 hours, so you know that you have that time limit. So we'll just say that's been shared.
I would like to get in touch with the artist formerly known as Dale and get her to work on that mechanics workshop in the ship.
Okay, I think we did a roll for this last time, didn't we? Didn't we do like a roll where you're?
Don't think so. We've talked about it, but I don't think we've actually done the roll on it. So let me know what needs to be done. Now, it's a spare time point or not?
Yeah, it's a spare time point, and you specifically, it's like a workshop, right? Like that's what we're looking at.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So let me pull that up really fast. So. Mechanically speaking, it requires. Where are we? Example. Okay. So. All right. A workshop is going to be 16T in one cargo space. You do have one cargo space, so you're okay there. So it's going to be. So you're gonna have to make a roll, and you can tell me. You tell me how you're doing it. Like it could be wealth. Like you're just sort of trying to pay her, or it could be something else. It could be persuasion. If you're just trying to talk her into it, like it's however you think it's making sense.
I think it would just be pretty straightforward. Like I think it'd just be commissioning work and paying for it. So I'll do a wealth roll if you're okay with it.
Yeah, wealth roll is good. Spend the spare time point. Roll wealth, difficulty of 16. And we'll go from there. We picture a post art gallery where she's standing over top of the ruined sculpture that Zatek had knocked over. Well, I'll be honest, I actually think it looks better this way. There's a certain chaos that I find very inviting. there's an authenticity to it that perhaps I had lost in my previous composition. And then you see she just picks up like a piece, like a big chunk of a piece, and she walks over to one of her other displays and just starts smashing it. And like the art gallery director is like, to Guild of Dividends is like coming over. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm making some final revisions. Thank you. Yes, that's so much better. And they just go about the room. They're just constantly bashing their stuff. And meanwhile, you're kind of having a conversation, trying to talk them in, finding the right price. How did you do? What'd you do on the roll?
17.
Okay. I don't normally stoop so low for such small jobs, but I appreciate the challenge. Yes. I've been working so heavily in this upper crust, this ivory tower, so to speak, these wealthy corporate folk, to get greased up a bit down with the doldrums of society like you and your crew, the leftover crumbs on a plate of food. Well,
I agree. I think the value that having something so authentic,
yes,
would really benefit your art and your poetry especially.
I think you might be correct. However, I will need to, of course, acquire certain materials, so I presume that you will be supplying the funds for this, yes?
Of course. I will transfer to your account right now.
Okay. And so we do a hard cut, and we go and we see we're on the ship now. Kill and Zatek are going through, Kill's setting up his ammo or whatever, or is doing an inventory of the weapon systems. Zatek is on Zatek and Zateas are trying to figure out, and all of a sudden here comes Deo. Hello, I have arrived. Hello.
My head's
Do you
not
need
there.
a piggyback ride again?
I would very much appreciate
Sorry, I
it.
broke your art.
Broke it, my darling. You have improved it. You have elevated it exponentially.
Oh. So you're not
Don't
mad?
worry. Well, mad. Such a fleeting emotion. No, I'm not mad. No. If only I could have such childlike wonder as you. Oh, anyhow, I am here because your money woman, Miss Dianu, sent me here to make some improvements to the ship. Where would be a good place for me to set up? Oh, this looks like a wonderful place. And you see she's standing in the middle of someone's bunk. Oh, I could definitely pull this way, that way.
Whose
It's the
bunk
worst
is
place to do. Yeah, it's Gita's.
It was perfect.
I rolled it random.
So good.
Yeah. It's oh, the color in here is nice, but it clashes in so many ways. It's a very amateurish assessment of color study. Anyhow, I could make it so much better. And so she just starts ripping apart.
They're also a
Gita's.
life art.
We all don't know one another, darling.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fair.
When you see a giant oil spill on the side of the street, do you say hello?
He does, actually.
Well,
I
I
checked.
stand corrected. And so she just starts ripping apart Gita's bunk, unless someone stops her and starts putting in a mechanics workshop. Okay.
Oh, that's where the workshop's going. Oh, screw this.
All right. Dr. T, we're going to cut over to Dr. T. Dr. T, what's something you've been trying to accomplish in the 48 hours you have before you leave?
Well, yeah, I know we got a mission to do, and it's going to be a long one. So my initial thought was I better go gather medical supplies and stuff. But then we also have Nephilim diplomats that are going to be on board. So preparing for them is going to take priority. So I'm going to go to the equivalent of Bed Bath and Beyond and get throw pillows and blankets and curtains, really spruce the place up. And also I'm going to go to a grocery store and I'm just going to get a whole bunch of frozen calamari and a bunch of cans of what's that stuff that people like? That's little tiny fish eggs. Caviar.
Caviar?
That's it.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Do I have like a grocery store? I'm looking at and see what I have. There's the Broker's Den, which is essentially a part social club, part like supplies vendor. And so you can see as you kind of like either fly or tentacly propel yourself inside, that there is a significant amount of like corp socialites and corp suits that are there procuring various objects. And so it's like it's a broker, so meaning like they're trying to like it's almost like a bazaar, like a trade and sell. So like as you go around, you can see all the things that you want, but a lot of it has to do with like this constant fluctuation of value. And so like every couple of minutes you can see the value changes. It's its own little microcosm of a stock market effectively.
Yeah.
So give me a roll for what you're doing. What skill do you think you're going to use? Do you want to use? It's up to you.
No.
You could do wealth, which would be about just like throwing money around, basically. You could do sort of some kind of persuasion, or more like bargaining, maybe, or convincing, or culture, maybe, to try to like provide them some kind of thing that they want in exchange for the goods that you want. Those could probably work.
And my plan on funding this is to just have it all charged to business Zatek, since that business is hosed financially anyway.
Yeah.
Why don't I go with did you say persuasion?
I could take persuasion. Yeah, you could do persuasion. Okay.
Because I'm
all right.
Not super terrible at that.
I thought you were going to just trade some like, anybody got bad knees? Anybody got bad knees? You got bad knees? You got caviar? I got you.
I got you. No, this one.
Trading knees for caviar.
I've got so many spare knees back on the ship.
Oh, goodness.
I'll use that 6 to re-roll that 3.
Okay, you're at a 12 so far. Let's see if you can go a little higher, maybe. Okay.
And I increase that by 2, so is that 14?
It's 14. Okay, yeah. So I'll say that you're able to acquire a decent supply of what you think might be Nephilim delicacies.
Yeah.
A lot of it's fermented, so it's like even like things like caviar and squid or whatever, everything's fermented and smells a little off, like everything. But you're able to get it. Maybe like you're able to throw the weight of the embassy around, as you're like officially working for the embassy now when you come around. And it's less about like selling things and buying things, and it's more about like promising favors, leveraging your position. Okay.
Yeah.
And so once you start coming back to the state, once you come back from your outing, we'll say that takes a lot of one specific day to just sort of shop stuff. You hear crazy noise happening within the ship. You hear the sounds of a woman singing, kind of, but it's not so much song as it is just like experimental poetry that hasn't quite been refined. And you see that Jita's room is being completely redesigned by the artist formerly known as Deo. Zatek is still frantically on the computer with Zateas trying to figure out ownership. And this is what you come across as you get back.
I'm just going to be oblivious to a lot of it as I go about the ship distributing throw pillows, just so we look classy. Okay. I will stop and notice Jita's bunk. I don't like how Jita's redecorated the place. The old one was a lot more colorful. Just throw in a couple throw pillows and just keep going.
So you throw them in, you start flying away, and they're thrown right back out. And you just hear this voice like, "Oh, tasteless drivel! Oh my goodness!" as you fly away. All right, let's check in with Jita. So Jita, what is something you have been doing in the 48 hours leading up to this mission launch?
So Jita was looking for somewhere that maybe we can say is off ship, so that this can be happening. But somewhere sort of astronomy lab-ish, kind of continuing to try to look through the crystals and all of that stuff. So that's she's relatively singularly focused on those kinds of things.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's places you could go. There is.
I could have done it just in our astrometrics lab, but also just to say that I'm not here.
No. I think you could do it. So a couple places you might consider going is over on Glass, so Alabaster 2, which there's the True Sky Expo Center, which like there's. So remember, Alabaster 2 is like where the more avant-garde scientific and engineering experimentations are. Like they're trying to push the envelope a little bit more. It's like new money versus Alabaster 1 being old money, and so there's like that kind of rivalry there. And so one of the ways that rivalry manifests is like kind of pushing the pushing the boundaries of some of that. So you could probably find like near the True Sky Expo Center, there's there's like the aeronautics, there's like a whole aeronautics sector where you can see like there's people who are professional test pilots, there's all sorts of like mechanics, and you can see demonstrations of new tech, you can see ship sails, all like people are not like the ships themselves, but you like, it's like when you go to buy a boat by a dock or something like that, you see the displays of things like holographic walkthroughs. But you also, in addition to that, you see plenty of places that are demonstrating new astrometrics tech. And so you can see like they're selling this and selling that. And it probably wouldn't be too difficult for you to find like a sort of a side gigs nearby to sort of gain access to some basic databases and things like that. It's certainly possible if that's your desire.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So are you okay with gaining access to True Sky? Like True Sky is a corp. And so like it's possible that anything that you do going through their databases and things like that and running some of this tech could potentially, like like the cookies are going to be saved.
I mean, this is what makes things interesting. So
Okay.
this is how you access the technology in the corp side of things, is that you sell all of your secrets. So yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to roll in astronomy, and what are you looking to figure out? You tell me what you're trying to figure out, and I'll see if it's something I actually have information for you.
I think it was. Sorry, there's so many things that we have talked about in our. So the star charts from the Franklin crystal, trying to get a better handle on the unknown systems.
Okay.
So some of that.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me an astronomy
Different
test.
places stuff. Okay.
I do think you've gotten. I think you've actually gotten some stuff on this already, though, because I do have. I think you guys have. Don't I have the markers visible to you guys on the sector map, like the swirling stuff?
Yes. Is that what would have come from that?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
we've got all the swirling access stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't. So without going to those places, that's probably the extent that you can get from just like knowledge base. Yeah, I think that's basically all you would essentially have. You have like a series of star systems, some within what was historically known as the Mondian Nation, some that was outside of it, some within the Halo Nebula, some on the edge of the Halo Nebula. All of those things were potentially of interest. Some of those are unexplored. Some of those are only like sort of mildly explored. Like no one's really created an expedition there to do kind of full-on settlement of it yet. But yeah, I don't think I would have any additional info to give you without
anything.
Without
Okay.
Going there.
Okay. Alrighty then.
There is one thing you guys didn't do was there were all those different things that you brought back with you all from Hypnos. Most people have dug into them. Maya got a language thing. Zatek got that musical instrument. Dr. T got into the head of the collected Mondian guy. You got some of the data crystals, but there was also that mechanical toy type of thing. There was that as well. but it would require a mechanics test to study, not astronomy.
Okay, let me. Oh, where did I put my sheet? Mechanics. I'm not great at mechanics, but I will do that anyway. And spend some time looking at that.
Okay. I mean, if you're doing it back on the ship, Kill's always there, so you can always ask Kill for help, and he could potentially.
Mechanics workshop that is currently being built.
Yeah, I would say you wouldn't get the benefits from that one yet, though. Probably not till
yet, and I don't know. I'm going to spend a grit point because that was a bad roll.
Okay.
I'm going to do a whole grit point for a complete reroll.
Wow.
11 minus 2, so I'm going to spend another grit to try to reroll this 3. Audience grit.
Now we're calling it audience grit? Okay.
Well, yeah, because there's my grit and then there's audience grit.
Okay.
I'm going to do that again. Yeah, no, I can't get better than 9.
Okay. It's just really complicated to look at. So it very much at first glance looks like a toy. There's all these different like honeycomb shapes and very intricate mechanisms. At first glance, it kind of looks like this really multi-sided Rubik's Cube in a way. But like the more you mess around with it, the more you realize like this isn't just a toy, like, you know, because it's just too complicated, and you feel like it's trying to demonstrate some sort of structural engineering, like it could be like a model, an engineering model, but you just can't crack it, whatever it is. But you can continue to study it. You're also going to be traveling for a while, so this is the type of thing you could also do while you're traveling, so there's no reason.
So this will probably be like, she was off trying to do this for a very long time, like as she's been like walking around doing different things, and then she's frustrated and she's like, I'm just going to go take a nap. This is when she, like, in frustration, finds that she no longer has a place to nap because her bunk is being turned into something else by this artist woman.
Also requires
you thought you liked the art.
You need to spend a spare time point for that too, by the way.
Yeah, nope. So she's just like staring daggers at Deo and finds somewhere else on the ship to continue to sit in a corner. And
Deo, as you come up and you stand in the hall and like in the doorway, she's like, oh, yes, could you get me something cold to drink? Yes, quickly. Something bubbly, colorful if possible.
Nope.
What kind of help are you?
Not the help.
Well, clearly you're very unhelpful. Oh, goodness. Your general demeanor here is beginning to... Oh, it's deflating the mood and the ambience of the room. Could you just run along now?
You have a pile in the corner. I'm going to retrieve that pile of things.
Oh, that's
that
just
you're clearly
trash.
Not. Oh. Sure. Yes, and she's taking all of her pieces of metal and everything that she had very carefully sort of sculpted on the wall. And she just comes out and she just like screams down the hall like, Maya!
It's not there.
You know, honestly, I don't mind sleeping in the chair in the gunnery area. If you want to take my cot, I'll just, you know, I've got this throw pillow that somebody just tossed out. I'll go sleep in the chair over there if you want a place, like, have some time to yourself or something.
That is very kind. I can still hear what's going on from your bunk. I am going to go as far away as possible and pretend that this isn't happening. I'll take the throw pillow though. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
These are really comfy. I don't know who grabbed these. I like them.
They're for our guests.
Oh.
Kill. Was there anything that you were trying to accomplish in the 48 hours before mission departure?
I think a lot of it is just making sure that the ship is as optimized as possible. He's kind of worried about the whole like traveling in a place that doesn't have ley dust. So you want to minimize any leaks or any sort of problems that would be just exacerbated like once you're in that kind of scenario. And outside that, he is kind of curious to work with Dr. T to see like what what all is going to be involved in like hosting Nephilim diplomats? Like, just like, do we have to be on like certain type of behavior around them, or like?
It is proper respect. One thing that'll really help you out is if you make sure that when you speak to them, you only speak to them in cursive.
I don't know why I fucking asked. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. They'll tell us if we do something wrong. I just got some throw pillows to spruce the place up.
They're nice though. That was a good call.
Glad you like them.
Kill, give me a mechanics test as you try to do just maintenance or just a once-over systems checks, things like that on the various systems within the Posh Chad. See if anything pops up.
I get a whopping 14.
A 14's not bad. I mean, that's a success. It's no unexpected consequence. There's nothing wrong with that roll at all. You do find that there are, there's definitely some problems here and there. You can tell that
those assholes like started cutting into the hull at some spot. Like,
yeah, so you got to do a lot of that patching. A lot of the doors needs, like, you got to get some of the pneumatics and stuff that kind of has to get sort of refixed. You notice like there are some spaces within this system, like some with the engineering section, with some of your, not your jump drive, but like your regular drive. And then also you notice a little bit with some of the weapon systems, like you think someone deconstructed them, like took them apart and then like put them back together, but they're missing parts here and there. Like someone did like a not a great job of putting them back together, like a quick job, like a ramshackle kind of thrown together. And you can see that there is occasionally like a piston missing here, or spring missing there, a panel that doesn't quite fit properly, that's in the wrong place. Lots of those little things like that just doesn't seem to quite make sense.
Did I do that? I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Oh man, I've got an idea, Dr. T. Remember there's a spot with the ducks, right? What if we take a couple of those fun little spots and we can say those are like exclusive private rooms?
Yeah. We could call them like reading nooks.
Exactly. Like they kind of, it's like extra privacy because we respect them so much.
I like that.
Okay. You want to try to create little reading rooms for
use some of our little storage things that we didn't even know we had before.
Okay. It's very cozy in here. It's very cozy. Sometime on the second day, as you're working on this kill, you get a delivery, like coming into the bay that you guys have parked your ship at, and you can see that it's a series of like these like flesh robots and like one singular emissary, and you recognize the emissary as being Emissary Winnipeg. And they had that kind of sort of very high pitched, not quite right kind of voice. But they come up to you with like this trio of these flesh bots that are bringing what looks like, as far as you can tell, very specialized like cryo chambers. One is supersized, you would presume, for Saskatoon, and another one looks very souped up and like comfortable, as if you would presume maybe for the Deacon. And then one of them looks just sort of basically normal. And Winnipeg will say, "It is a pleasure to see you both again, Mr. Kill, Captain Dr. Toronto. I am glad to see that your underling is at work preparing the ship for our arrival. We have brought with you these 3 cryo chambers for you to install at your leisure, but no later than 24 hours from now. I presume one of your underlings is capable of understanding Nephilim engineering and how our biotechnology connects to and siphons off energy from your own ship. Or do you need precise instruction?"
Nope, we got it. But my other underlings understand the technology perfectly, and we'll be able to install it expeditiously.
You are a shining example of what Nephilim leadership can bring to a multicultural crew. Well done, Dr. T. I will report this to Deacon Ottawa.
Wonderful.
They turn around. I will say the flesh bots will bring the stuff onto the ship for you. Like they'll do the labor, and then you guys have to hook them up.
I mean, how hard can it be? We had to install that other cryopod for...
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Ask Jeeves exists.
Kill, I will roll over your mechanics of 14 from the previous roll, and we could say that'll let you go ahead and get that set up. No problem. Okay. Let's cycle back. Any more business to tech in the 48 hours, now less than 24 hours, basically? Is there any more businesses you're looking to try to accomplish? Last call.
I want to do my best to get a hold of Jacob Flint.
Okay. Wow. So how are you trying to do that?
I want to see. So when they like showed me a picture of him, did it have like they mentioned like, oh, that's the name he's going by? Did they have like a name listed under that, or did they mention a name as they were like interrogating me about?
They didn't mention any other names. No.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna be like searching through ads and stuff, and I also want to try. He was like fixing a still or something in the Rusty Cog, right?
At the Rusty Cog,
so,
yeah.
A part of this too, I just want to be like shouting out stuff for the ads to pop up, and I'm looking for like repairman, fixing, stills, like just stuff like that, and hopefully I'll get a targeted ad that he put out there.
Give me a computers test. Difficulty of 14 on this, and it might not met the result exactly the way you're hoping, but yeah, you could roll for it.
Okay. That's just a flat roll.
Flat roll. You get a 14. That's a 12. You got a 6 in there.
12. I did.
Roll that 3, and you're almost there.
Hey.
Oh my.
And I got
That's
a plus 1,
6.
so that. Yeah.
You can spend that 6 that you just rolled to re-roll the other 3 too.
Can. What would that be? So right now I'm at 12.
15.
15.
That's how math works.
16 total. It's 16.
Because of your trait thingy that gives you the plus 1.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll the next one.
I'm gonna take that.
You want to keep it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do see an ad as you're kind of shouting and you're kind of going through the roster. Or maybe you get Zatek to start like scanning. And you do see an ad that pops up at some point, essentially for paternal daycare. And you see the ad pop up and just like, are you a busy a parent here on Alabaster? Do you got to run off to the factory? Do you work security at the prison? Well, if you do any of these things, or perhaps work at any one of the fantastic marketable places across this wide array of stations, well then you probably have those little rugrats that need caring for. But you don't want to leave them in front of some sort of robot or, heaven forbid, some sort of Nephilim tentacle monster. That's where we come in, okay? And you see this like whole thing, this whole spiel. It's basically like an 80s sitcom montage of like Jacob Flint like holding up little babies here and there, and like some of them crying, and then he sways them and they stop crying, and then others are just like playing frisbee in some weird kind of futuristic park on one of these stations. And then there's like an email address, but it's not Jacob Flint this time. It's it's like a completely different name, and so you can see like there's contact information here and there. But you're very
a picture of Boars and say, I need my son to be enrolled in this daycare service.
Okay. So you send a message out. Oh Jesus! So it's not Jacob Flint. What do I want to call him this time? His name's gonna be Ricard. Hang on, Ricard Montalban. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. And so it's Montabon's little bunny foo-foos. I don't know what the hell the name of the thing is.
Little bunny foo-foo.
Montabon's Montessori, obviously.
It's clearly Montessori. Okay, so you reach out to this company saying your child needs to show a picture of boars. Okay. They send you the rates that would be required, and then if you would like to tour our facilities that we're going to be keeping your beloved swarms, then they give you a address, and it's somewhere on Alabaster 5 this time, and they're like so on the same station that you're at. If you want to go tour their daycare facilities,
and I'm going to take that and forward it to whoever's been trying to take all of our stuff and say, like, here's the man that seems to have done my paperwork wrong.
Okay.
Should be able to find him here.
All right, I like it. Okay, so yeah, you forward that information on to try to like get them put the various regulars and debt collectors back onto Jacob Flint / Ricard Montibon. All right. Okay. Well done. Maya, was there any more business that you had to take care of before leaving the station? Last call. What you got?
Conversely, to Kill and Dr. T, who are, working on the ship and getting the ship ready, Maya's very like, I'm gonna be spending the next 6 weeks on the ship minimum. So she's doing everything she can to not be on the ship. And I think she's gonna go shop for new clothes on Alabaster 5 and just kind of do some errands while she's there. Specifically sending that message to Ajax and Data Holler. I think she's probably spending the time with her mom to go shopping so that she can like talk to her and spend the time with her. And don't have roleplay any of that, but like she's really anxious about like salvaging her career, so she's definitely talking to Theron as well, the body count person she was introduced to work stuff out with him.
Okay. Give me a persuasion test.
Errands, basically.
Yeah, errands. Give me a persuasion. Like, you're gonna get your clothes. You're gonna like, that's no problem. Especially if you're going with your mother. You have plenty of wealth and plenty of influence there. That's not an issue. But give me a persuasion test. Let's just sort of see how well the discussion with Theron from.
Sweet. That's an 18.
Okay. Do you tell them that you're going off on a lengthy out of system job right now?
I don't say out of system, but I do say I am going on a job with some very high-powered VIPs.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
And I expected, because I mean the entire time on the ship, her plan is to just kind of like make videos, specifically in that new mechanic workshop, so she has that interesting Deo background and whatever else. So like the time on the ship is going to be spent making videos.
Okay, so your persuasion test is fantastic. Maybe Sanvi is there to help kind of like grease some wheels as well. And so you're effectively given a streamer package. This is essentially, it's got a bunch of materials from the corporation that they want you to show on stream. Product placement, overlays, that sort of thing. Some of it is physical property, but a lot of it's just like data, so that you can like holographically in post just put like an image there, this there, that there, and all these things that if you weave that into some of your streams will help probably get you some of the, some, like, you're going to get some money from it, but you're also going to see like your ratings start to climb back up because you're going to be shared association with this company. Okay, fantastic. Dr. T, last call. Any last business on the station?
Well, I was gonna go gather more medical supplies, but now that we have to pretend like we know how to install a Nephilim cryopod, I'll probably just hang out help out.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, look,
There's some things.
I'm not saying I don't know how to do this. I'm just saying if you would let me freeze you and see how it reacts, it would help.
Okay.
and he's completely frozen in the cryopod. No problem.
That one left you a little crunchy on the outside. I'm gonna adjust that some.
I've got freezer burn.
You do.
See just like discoloration underneath his eyes here and there on his cheeks and things. Okay. All right. Jita, last call. Any other business?
Jita finds a nook of the ship and makes herself a new room so that she has somewhere to go before we leave.
Do you take over one of the private reading rooms that Dr. T and Kill spent yesterday creating?
That would be rude of me to do that. I, on my own, with no support or help from anyone else, make my own little sleeping nook somewhere.
I mean, I offered you the cot, or like if you want a place that's further away, there is the chair over in the gunner's seat. I mean,
it reclines.
I thought you'd prefer like an actual cot, but like if you want a place that's further away,
She will take the metal that was so rudely like stripped out of her room and basically make a little like fort space for herself with like metal and fabric and stuff. So she like makes herself a little like fort in a corner of the ship.
Okay, fair enough.
She's pouting a bit, so even though there's like reasonable recommendations being given to her, she's not going to take any of them just because she's being pouty.
Okay. And then Kill, last call. Was there anything else that you were looking to do? Any more things that you wanted to do, acquire, anything like that?
I kind of feel bad about that whole situation. I'm actually just take some scrap, actually like weld together like a little crude frame to like hang something over if she is doing a fort. And because at this point I realize the cat is fairly smart, I'll just say like I think Jita actually could use like wait until she's asleep first, but then go cuddle with her. Like she's grumpy.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think we were doing what were we doing? Persuasion for you messing around with the cat. You keep calling it a cat.
When it was memory related, you had me do resolve. I'm glad with whatever.
Yeah, you're just giving it direction. So you can give me like a leadership or a persuasion, one of the two.
I'll take leadership.
Yeah, go for
it. On that. Oh God. Okay, so I will take my 6, reroll the 1, and roll a heck of a roll there. So that will be 6, 12, 17 plus 4, 21.
Okay.
She's having a real hard time. Like. It's one of those things where he doesn't necessarily know how much like the cat actually understands the words, but it's just kind of like intonation, like doing like you make the eye contact, you do the slow blink to get the response from the cat doing the slow blink, then kind of look off in that direction.
And it looks at you, looks at Jita, looks at you, and then it'll trot over, cuddle up, and then in the night, while Jita's sleeping, we see those little like tentacles, not tentacles, that's not quite the word for it, but they got like antenna and stuff on their forehead. It starts to like, they start to vibrate and twirl and things like that. Jita, give me a resolve test.
Okay, resolve. Nope. I'm not rolling stuff I'm good at tonight so far. -2. Oh, okay. So that's a 6, a 5, and a 4. Which is
fantastic.
Which is
well, it's 15. I don't know what your bonus is. 6, 4, 5 is 15.
-2.
Okay, 13. So you're at 13 right
Still
now.
13. It's not
13's
bad.
really good. That's all you need.
Roll the
just need a 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Jita, you have a very
resolve wild.
Yeah.
Jita, you have a very vivid dream while you're sleeping, and it's one of those dreams that definitely feels real, like you're experiencing it. You don't seem to have control over it, but moments there are times when like it feels like vaguely familiar. You are back on Hypnos. You are with your friends, your crew. You see like there's another like slender, tall, long-limbed shape with you that's kind of occasionally getting clarity, sometimes not. But you all are standing over top of what appears to be some kind of crater in the earth. and it's a very big one. And you can tell just from looking at it that there was some sort of like infrastructure built within it. Like there was some subterranean construct, quite large, almost like a dome, but buried beneath the earth. But you can see that it seems to have suffered some catastrophe, and you can see the wrenching of machinery, of parts, of glass, of electronics and things. It's old. Like this hasn't happened recently, but it's there. And like you have that, like this voice that you can't quite make out of that one figure, that figure that you think at this point now is sort of similar to the image of a Mondian, and is kind of pointing and gesturing and saying things that just aren't quite clicking. Give me an awareness test while you're doing this.
All right, that's something that I only have a -1 in, so we're moving on up with the rolls.
Just a 12 will do.
No. I'm going to spend a grit, because that was a 6. So
you baited out all of the grit before you guys go to this. Yeah,
good.
Great.
Gosh. That's a fail. That's that's 10.
10. Okay. What you get from 10 is that there's something about this structure that looks familiar to you. Even in its wretched, destroyed state, there's something about the infrastructure of it that looks really, really familiar. There's all sorts of these weird layers and plates and systems, but like it's ruptured, it's broken. And then you wake up and you remember this very, very clearly, and you realize at this point, like it's not so much a dream as you think you were just sort of reliving a memory, and maybe that memory is somewhat edited by your dream. You're not sure, and you can see that there is Goro too, nestled right next to you, like asleep. And you can see like their small little antennae are kind of just twirling around while this is happening. And as you wake up, you can see the antennae eventually kind of come to a rest, and you realize that you're pretty sure that was a memory of some kind.
And Jita will sort of notice that her Farron, sort of like where Goro is sort of curled up, that she can sort of see kind of the glowing of her Farron was sort of like close in that proximity.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of wakes up and she smiles a bit for the first time in the last couple days, and kind of like scritches Goro.
Okay. Like just like this little and then kind of rolls over and falls asleep. Okay. The next morning, 48 hours have passed, and you all see with perfect precision of timing, exactly 48 hours after the conversation that Dr. T and Kill had inside the Nephilim Embassy, like literally right on the dot, 48 hours, you see coming into the bay where you have parked the Posh Chad, you can see an assembly. It's not just the 3 Nephilim that you were going to be taking on your ship, but you also see that there's other attendees and things like that who come in. They insist on doing like a full security sweep of the Posh Chad. That large gargantuan Nephilim with like a voice that just makes everything tremble. It's just way too loud whenever they talk to people. We need to see your ship, and it's like the voice comes through like it's like a snare drum right in or a bass drum like right in your ear, and then they start doing a security thing while Deacon Ottawa in these various crates. You can see there's all these unmarked Nephilim Embassy crates and things like that that they need to find storage space for. But with some fanfare, they come on. They find places within your ship. And do you introduce them to the rest of your underlings, Dr. T? Because they've only met Kill at this point.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
So
I
they
think it's
wow.
because mainly other than the main ones, I don't know who to introduce. Like, am I just introducing them to like their coat carrier? I'll wait, and when we get on the ship and all the extras are gone, we'll do the formal introductions and with services you all provide in my employment.
You're gonna like give us name tags so we know like what our like jobs are supposed to be.
If really all your name tags are gonna be is blood type and like what procedures I have to perform regularly.
Yeah, at a certain point,
It's a big badge.
maybe Deacon Ottawa asks specifically, like something along the lines of, "Which of your underlings pilots the ship?" Who does pilot the ship?
That's a question we ask every time.
I'm pretty sure Chuck pilots and Mel navigates.
I piloted early on, but wasn't it? Did you pilot last time, or was it Kill?
I thought it was Gita that did
Usually you're doing the
navigation.
actual piloting, and then Gita's done like navigation.
Who's got a high command skill? Command skill is one of the spaceship combat.
I have a 2 in command.
Okay. Yeah, so either one of you would be decent pilots because that's what piloting basically is. So command skill basically corresponds to piloting or organization, coordination, that kind of thing. Okay. Awesome.
And I'll lean towards Gita like, listen, it's just gonna look bad if I'm driving myself around space. Gita is our pilot, very skilled at piloting and astronavigation. She's found all kinds of stars in the sky. Who even knew they were up there?
Nice to make your acquaintance.
And you see Deacon Ottawa is a relatively tall, slender individual, wears some sort of thin steel mask over top of their eyes, so you can't see their eyes, but you can see what looks like the brain. Like the brain is popping up out of the top of the head, like Mars Attack style. And they have 4 arms, 2 of which are always busy doing other things. 1 or 2 are always free, and they hold out their arm in a way that suggests like they're trying to shake your hand. And they say. "It is pleasure to make your acquaintance, colorful one. How many years of practice in service have you had as pilot of this vessel?"
Oh, just too many to count. They're all just such a pleasure with the captain doctor.
Too many to count.
Fly by.
Well,
Does this mean that the numbers are high in totality, or that you are insufficient at doing basic arithmetic?
Oh no, just that if it were a chore to pilot under the direction of the captain doctor, I would count the days and years. But since it's a pleasure serving under the captain doctor, I don't even give it a thought.
I see. That is a very insufficient answer. And then turns towards Dr. T. "You have an insufficient pilot. If you need, we can extend our mission departure time 2 additional hours for you to find a suitable replacement."
No, it's fine. This one will do. She's a skilled pilot. She's nervous at meeting you. And there was also that brief stint where we were lost on Hypnos for an undetermined amount of time.
Like they nod, yes. Yes, my presence is potentially a problem for many of you. I am sure most of you have not been in the presence of someone so grand and important as I. I can understand this. Well said, Dr. Captain. What is this about Hypnos? You all have been to this planet?
Yes.
Interesting. I would very much like a debriefing as to your finds.
Of course.
Well?
Not right now.
Excuse me, did you just give me an order?
Yes. I am Captain Dr. T. We have preparations to make for a safe and eventful journey.
The emissary leans over and whispers something really, really quiet but high pitched. And yes, you must maintain operational authority. I understand this. Do you have some inspirational speech to provide to your underlings as we undertake this mission of grand importance for the development of the Eden brood?
I do.
And you can see one of their hands goes to their chin as they're listening in intently.
May this trip be successful and safe and profitable. And if you do not carry out your proper duties, I will replace your knees with extra eyeballs.
Yes,
Well
Captain
said.
Doctor.
Captain Dr. T. And you see, just want picturing everyone with eyeballs in their knees now. Okay.
I mean, maybe that's why my knees are working so well now. Just the popped eyeballs under the kneecaps.
It's the jelly. It really smooths things out.
Okay.
Just imagine
Welcome,
getting glasses
Raiders.
for those.
Table of Horrors, thank you so much for that raid. Really do appreciate it. We're playing some Fragged Empire, weird space shenanigans, space sci-fi, and we are just undertaking on a new mission. All right, so you all go to wherever it is that you go on your ship. When you start to depart, you reach out. Zateas does to, or your computer reaches out to the various traffic control within Alabaster 5. And Zatek, you learn pleasantly that apparently whatever flag had been put on the Posh Chad has been lifted. As you see, maybe that's because of your doing, maybe it's because of the embassy. No real reason, to be clear, but you no longer have
a legitimate business now.
Yeah.
It's just the worst. Okay. All right. So just to give you guys an idea of what's happening, if we go back to the Haven system really fast, I'll bring you over that map really fast. I'll show you where you're going. So you guys are Alabaster, so pinging it for the players, which is like the second outermost planet, very large one within the Haven system. You guys aren't on the planet, obviously, because it's a gas giant. You are on these giant ass space stations around it, and you all need to travel into the Liberty Belt. The Liberty Belt is an asteroid field, the belt of asteroids between Alabaster and the outermost planet, which is Lilith. Kill, you would probably be somewhat familiar with Lilith because it is sort of the Legion home base within the Haven system. It's a very cold planet, Legion like cold, etc. And so you guys are traveling into the belt, because in the belt is where the jump gate is to get to the Kusuf system. Now, there are ways that you could potentially travel to the Kusuf system without going through the gate, but it would be twice as long. And so the jump gate essentially halves your travel. So that's where we're headed right now. And so you're looking at, a couple days worth of travel time, maybe 2-3 days of travel time or so, maybe not even that much to actually get to the belt. So it's relatively quick to get to there. Now, day and a half, I think is what I wrote. About a day and a half to get to the belt from the Alabaster stations. Jita, you're in the pilot seat for the most of the time. You notice, Jita, that the entire time the emissary is not Deacon Ottawa, but the emissary with that weird voice is kind of standing behind you and watching everything you do here and there, even though there's really nothing you have to regularly do to space. It's all mostly autopilot, unless like something serious pops up, but they're constantly like looking over your shoulder, just monitoring your progress, not saying anything unless you prompt them to, but they're watching over and over again. The big guy, the gargantuan one, the giant brute of a Nephilim, you see that they go to your armory, where they're kind of checking out what weapons, what your weapon systems are like. Kill, I know we go up into the turret with you a lot. Do you check out the armory?
Oh yeah, that's usually that's his go-to place if he has downtime. Usually, is make sure that's well ordered.
And so the gargantuan will look at you at this point, and you're a big dude, but he's like looking down at you, and he's so hulking that he's hitting the top, his ceiling, he's hitting the head on the ceiling, and he has to like crunch over, and he's like, "I see you have Thermalix eggs. How do they fare for you?" As he screams down in your face, little flecks of food and saliva go onto your face from above.
Well, this is my favorite model right here. A little bit lower impact, but much faster reload time, and Kill would love nothing better than to talk shop about weapons with this guy, even if he does scream.
Okay, and he's very interested because on your ship, not sure how much you guys remember. You have two weapon systems, two space weapon systems. One of them is your phase gun turret, where you hang out a lot kill. So you get in that turret and just fire around like that. But then the other thing you guys have is you have Thermalix eggs. So these are Nephilim weapons. They are mines. So there are warheads and mines that you kind of just launch out here and there. And so seeing those, he's like very interested in like how they've worked for you. Please make a detailed list of all of the kills and uses of the eggs, how quickly they respawn, how much ordnance you need on a regular basis, and how much you expect to acquire on this mission. Go.
I would love to talk about that. Yeah, I was actually, whenever Dr. T showed these to me, I was like, I have to use these all the time.
Captain Dr. T, you shall respect
when I met
his
him,
authority.
he was a doctor.
He is not doctor, but he is now also your captain underling. You should respect him.
You're very right. I'm so glad you're here. Is it Saskatoon or is it Saskatoon?
You may call me Saskatoon.
Saskatoon, I'm so glad you're here. It's somebody else that can appreciate how amazing these things are. It's just really great you're here. There was this one time, there were these like pirates that were chasing us through a blockade, and like we launched it, and he'll just go and telling some nonsense story of like creating a cluster bomb effect.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with space-to-space engagement with pirates? Have you been to the Kusuf system before? Are you aware of these security limitations?
I haven't been to that system. I have killed a lot of pirates.
How many?
212.
That is a respectable number. You see, it kind of looks around a bit. I mean, I suppose for an underling.
Hey, I'm like half your size. I mean,
that is a good point. Yes, you are very observant, little one. And smacks you on the shoulder. Your arm just like all of the stabilization of your armor has to kick in. Okay.
I'm so glad you're here.
Okay. And then Deacon Ottawa, you see, is frequently moving about on his own, and he's constantly got some kind of tablet out, constantly doing work. And he's frequently going and checking on his like special cargo. He's kind of peeking at it here and there. And then he's sort of checking it every now and then with Dr. T. And that's essentially what the sort of the time is like, from the travel time from Alabaster to the Liberty Belt. Now, eventually, when you get to the Liberty Belt itself, it's not like, a really condensed asteroid field, but like there's these large chunks of asteroids here and there, and you know that there is a very significant Kaltoran population. So if I could get, let's go Maya. Maya, give me a D6 roll.
It's a 4.
A 4? Okay. So you guys have, we'll say you've been traveling through, you've kind of passed, the nearest asteroid you just passed probably about an hour or so ago. And we'll say about an hour after you've kind of passed out of any real effect of its kind of gravitational field, you start seeing those of you who might be near various panels. And Zatek, you would also get something kind of popping into your ear from Zateas about some sort of strange anomalies beginning to kick up on the hull. And so none of it's like, it's not like red alert, but it's more like yellow alert. It's like something has started to transpire. So Zateas would say something along the lines of, we seem to have suffered some sort of hull damage. Hull integrity is down approximately 2.4% in the past hour. Correction, 2.5%. Correction, 2.6%. It seems to be continuing to destabilize. And this is all in Zatek, since, you and Zateas are so tight. But anybody else who is near a panel will start to notice that on, whether you're in engineering or the bridge or something like that, you start to see like these small little alerts pop up, these little things. What do you guys do with that?
Something's wrong with all of our ship.
Captain Doctor.
what's about to happen, but I'm sure I deserve it.
Should we abbreviate to
Head on up.
CDT?
CTT.
Are you down with CDT? Yeah, you know me.
Writing notes. So where do you go first, Captain Doctor? You've got 3 different people calling you.
2.9% and continuing to drop at a steady pace.
Spaceship voice, do a scan of the immediate area.
Spaceship voice.
His name is Teus.
Yes.
Okay. Who would want to use any kind of like sensors or scanning? Who would want to run something like that? You can get a bonus if you get the.
No. Is that operations?
We're not in combat per se just yet, so this is just you running a computer's check basically, just doing a computer's test for now.
Okay. I'm flat on computers. I've got a +1 on electronics.
About 4 to computers.
Gina, you're in the bridge. You're at the bridge in the pilot seat. You would probably seeing things pop up, and I would say you all would also start to notice that there is like there's starting to be a slight increase in like there's this weird kind of fluctuation, like the speed of this hull integrity degradation is beginning to increase. It's not going like rapidly fast. It's going like 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.3%. It's continuing to increase here and there, but it's definitely something's happening.
I can go spacewalk and figure it out.
It's a terrible idea. Let's reverse forward going and do some scans to see what's out there.
I'm gonna roll an 2 audience grit, because holy crap, was that a bad roll?
Just having a bad night.
Thank you,
Let's have a
audience.
bad day. Let's have a bad week between her
I
car.
just can't. It's just
Has it been
not
your day, your week?
good. Your month, even your
or
year.
even your year.
Even your year. Son of a... I'm going to spend my last... I tried to spend 2 audience, so I'm just going to spend a full grit and just re-roll everything. This is my last grit. Come on. 12.
Okay. You notice as you're doing a scan, you guys haven't passed by like in sort of any kind of sensor range of another ship. Honestly, since you really left Alabaster, like you're not in any kind of like it's space, right? So like even though this is a well-trafficked system, it's not. It is enormous. So you're not really near any of them. The last body that you saw was an asteroid approximately about an hour ago. You do a scan, Jita, and you realize that on your hull there are 6 anomalous readings. Like there's some like 6 things have attached themselves and very like you can see like there's these anomalous like little nodes here and there. And as you start to run through the sort of like the hull degradation, you realize that those nodes correspond to where the hull degradation seems to be localized.
And so Jita will get on comms to everyone. Tejas is correct. We have 6 locations where the hull is degrading. Something has attached itself to the outside of our ship.
I can go scrape it off.
Yeah, Zatek and Kill head out on a hull scraping duty.
All right.
Kill, just don't shoot down. Because you're standing on the ship. You'll be shooting the ship.
I wasn't planning on shooting the ship.
Okay.
But thank
Just
you
say
for the
yes.
reminder, Captain Doctor.
You're
There
welcome.
you go.
Looking around here in the bridge, are any of the Nephilim?
The emissary, the one with the high pitched voice, has been here the whole time observing Jita.
Fuck.
You don't see Deacon and you don't see Saskatoon.
Oh,
Do we have any sense of what is attached to the ship?
Not
There's 6
as of yet, no. from Jita's basic, so what basically Jita was able to do was kind of just do essentially a localized scan, like basically a sensor sweep in a very localized radius around the ship, and she found 6 anomalous readings like on the exterior of the hull of the Posh Chat.
Okay, so presumably we know the physical locations of where those are.
Yeah, Jita would be able to get at it.
If it's possible, like I don't know if there's like a portal or like any kind of like visual next to one of those physical areas to kind of try and look to see what the fuck it is.
Let me just roll a little check. Okay, when you have various viewing ports. Okay, you have one main airlock on the right side of the ship. I always forget the name. Is that that's the starboard side? Right side.
Yeah.
Of the ship?
Port has the same number of letters as left.
As left. I was doing the same thing. That's how I got there.
Too.
That's how I got there. Yeah. So you have a starboard airlock that usually just sort of passengers on and off, and then you have your cargo bay, which is a different thing. Like it's still airlocked, but you have like nested cargo bay doors. So those are effectively the two ways that you can get in and out of the ship, and you probably have like an emergency exhaust, emergency like exit, like you can probably pop at some point too, and you have like escape pods and things like that. So I'll say this: roll an awareness test. If you want to spend time trying to go to some of these various viewing ports, give me an awareness.
Because I can't go outside the way these guys can. That's a 14.
Okay. When you are looking at one of the the viewing ports near the port side of the ship, specifically over by the what's it called? The biotech workshop. So like you're not astromatics, the hydroponics bay essentially. Yeah. There is a viewing point window, and if you can contort your head, you can see that there is a fairly large bulbous piece of machinery on the outside.
Okay.
4.1%.
I have eyes on whatever the hell it is. I will yell to whoever can hear her.
And Sateas will say to Zatek and Dr. T, Captain Dr. T, CDT, hull degradation has reached 5%. And what that's eventually going to do is going to trigger some damage. So your ship actually takes damage currently. Okay. So Zatek, Kill, you two of you. Okay. Zatek and Kill, we're going to do a spacewalk. Is that right?
Yep. We're going to get out there. We're going to take care of these bulbous nodes.
Okay. So Maya saw one. Jita, you were on the computers and you kind of got a basic idea of where they're all at. Dr. T, what are you up to?
Panicking.
Okay. Okay. So Kill, Zatek, you both exit via the starboard airlock. Do you think your ship's got like tethers? Do you think you use tethers, or you guys just like free balling it?
I feel like we would have tethers on a ship this big.
I would hope so.
Especially if we've got like external anything.
Thought you guys were explorers, but okay, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, you guys go. You do the classic like hook a tether up to, which is going to limit your range. So that means that you're going to limit your range. Do you stick together or do you go off in separate directions?
I think you stick together, and if you have to go and extend the range, which you then attach their tether to you to then like double your range.
Okay, but one person stays behind then as like an anchor point then. Okay. All right, so you guys stick together? Okay, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Both of you, you could both give me an awareness test, -2 on this awareness test as your... Well, actually, -2 for Kill, because your helmet probably limits your scope, but Zatek, are you just... Yeah.
Do these ping as biological? Because I've got the lens.
They do
thing
not. They do not.
Okay.
And Maya would be able to confirm that as she saw something mechanical, something machinery.
Okay. Cool. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse.
I'll use the grit.
6.7%.
Oh boy.
For you. So you get a flat 12.
Okay. Zatek, how'd you do?
What's that? I think that is also
11?
Flat 12.
Okay.
Because I get the +1 on the reroll.
All right. As you guys spread out, you maybe go to the nearest, because Gitas is able to give you relative positioning of where these different spikes are happening. Obviously, you can't make it. You're probably not going to go all the way to the starboard side, but you do know that on the underbelly of the ship is probably the closest one. So if you just literally go out the airlock and start walking to the underside of the ship, you both see that there is a pod. It's probably the size of like a really small, like one of those smart cars, like one of those really tiny cars. So it's fairly large, and it is a machine. It's circular in nature. You can see that it has these various like legs that have extended out from it and have kind of anchored themselves magnetically, possibly, or maybe they've sort of clamped into it. And you both notice that there is some sort of drill-like apparatus that seems to be piercing in, like drilling into the hull of your ship. And that is what you see.
Don't like that. Yeah, are we able to reach it from our tethers?
Yeah, you can get this one.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to start trying to pry it off.
Okay.
See, it's about the size of a smart car.
Yeah, it's about the size of a smart car, like that size, like that. It's circular. It's like a giant gumdrop with like a drill at the bottom, and then there's a series of these metallic legs that have anchored it somehow to the exterior of the ship.
I want to biomorph and see if I can get to like all 4 prongs or whatever that it's stuck itself in, and try and pull on all of them at the same time. Okay.
And you're going to keep the tether while you're biomorphing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and give me your biomorph roll. That's fine. Okay. Absolutely.
I appreciate that look. I'm like, yes.
I mean, I'll try to. I'm gonna grit that. 15. And I got 1 6.
That's better.
So let's re-roll that, and a 5. So that's a 20.
Okay. So your goal is to like wrap around it, like to essentially extend your body around it as best you can.
Him kind of like extending out like his arms, not like trying to wrap his whole body around it, but like getting one limb out on each of the little prongs that are on it and trying to pull them off.
As you wrap your body around it, and as you get the various, these extended portions of yourself around the legs, you try to yank on, and you definitely feel them start to come loose. But right when you pull the first strut free, you feel a shock of electricity just suddenly expand from this thing. This immense, horrific shock all over every single surface area of your body. You go ahead and you're going to take 11 points of endurance loss on this.
Oof.
And then
gosh.
Go ahead and roll the random personal attribute.
No.
For like a random personal attribute damage.
Wow.
I got a 6, so that's grit.
Okay, so you take 1 point of grit loss. You take 11 points of endurance loss. The good news is you wrench this thing free, as one by one, like you're yanking staples out, pop, 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 and you see. I'll say Kill can see this. You can see small little ruptures in the hull because it does seem like these have like kind of embedded in your hull. and you've yanked it off. Now there's this massive drill that's just sort of spinning around here and there. It's like a mechanical drill, but you can see there's like a laser eye point at the very end, and that's just kind of flying around. It's not digging into Zatek, but you can see like Zatek's body is kind of shaking. And I'm going to presume your tethers probably aren't metal, so I'm going to say the electricity at some point gets grounded before it hits kill. But you can see that something's happening to kill, and this thing is still just sort of.
It bit me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a simple guy. Something like shocks my teammate, I shoot it.
Okay, he's wrapped around it. So go ahead and roll your attack as you start.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but it's like that weird, like,
Okay.
What?
Is there like a
ahead and roll
center portion that Zatek is like wrapped around the legs, and like the center portion is like exposed? The like actual bubblegum drop, and like he was like around the legs.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to increase defense. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got
what's
+7 at
your
the
total?
end. So get me to a 8, 14, and then another 7, so 21.
21. Oh yeah, that's a hit. So you manage, despite the fact that he's covering more than half of the surface area of this thing, you're able to sort of shoot at it. Give me your damage.
Okay. It's a non-crit. No, actually, no, that is not a crit. But it'll be 10. And piercing, 10. If that makes a difference.
Okay. It would only make a difference if you did critical damage.
Pretty much,
okay, so just pure, yeah. Okay, so you're going to do 11 points. Okay, so this thing, and you see whatever you fire, whether you're firing like projectile, like what kind of gun is it? Are you shooting lasers? Or are you shooting like some sort of projectile slugs?
He did the blaster just because it's a single focused blast that would be piercing. See, the nature of what it looked like. He figured that'd be the better choice.
So you see how like you basically bore a hole in portions of it. Like you managed to dodge like the various portions of it that are covered by Zatek, and you can see that you wrench right through whatever the exterior of this is. It doesn't explode. You can still see the drill is still going. The legs are trying to move. And Zatek, you can feel yourself being shifted and moving as if it has some sort of basic thruster mechanisms, and you can see it's trying to fly away. And as it does so, it's pulling on the tether. And so now it's like this thing is pulling out and away from the hull of the ship. Kill, you start to feel yourself get lifted and away. Meanwhile, in the ship, Dr. Captain T, Maya, Jita, you hear Zateus come on board. 10%. We have a potential hull breach within the hydroponics bay. And Maya, are you still there, or did you move from the bay? Okay. You watch, you can actually see like on one wall of your ship, one wall within the lab itself, you start to see like the shelving units that you've affixed to the wall where you pull your plants, you strap them in to ensure they don't fall. You can see it's actually starting to tremble in some ways. You can see it's starting to tremble here and there, and you realize that you've got seconds maybe before there might be a puncture. And then
I am hitching up my gun.
Okay. Do you have like it's like that's space? So like, do you have?
Oh, you're right. If we're in the ship, I probably don't have it on me. I'm gonna run to my room.
Okay, fair enough.
Where my gun is.
So you go. Well, no, it's not so much that. It's more of a like the wall is about to pierce. I don't mind if you have your gun, but the wall's about to pierce. Do you have?
You'd be shooting through into space. Suit? Like, yeah. Do you have something to breathe?
No,
with?
and I said, Gil, don't
I
shoot the
see
ship.
what you're saying. I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, you can carry your gun. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It is not a full-on airlock.
No, I don't think I can really do anything except exit this area and like tell Zateus to close whatever the fuck door.
Okay. Why don't you do that? I don't want to use Zateus as like a substitute for you guys doing things. I still feel like players should be doing stuff.
hatch somewhere? Like on a spaceship, maybe we have some sort of like a
Can I
hatch,
just
something or
pose and
another?
and try and hold the door? Like, is that?
Yeah, what I was gonna say is you could try to just like go through the door and then put like a kind of a breach door down, making sure that like this door is secure, like so it doesn't.
That's awesome.
It would be a mechanics test probably if you want to give me a mechanics test to do that.
Good, I'm super good at mechanics. I'm really bad at all this stuff. It's actually useful.
Oh, perfect.
But if you guys don't know wealth roll,
You could pay someone to do it.
Can I just throw money at this chap? Like,
You certainly could. See if that plugs the hole.
Clog the hole with money.
with a cred stick. Let's see. Got a 14, but my mechanics says -2, so 12.
Okay. That's still a pass. Yeah, you can still go through. You turn around. You kind of you try to put whatever basic like commands are in, or maybe it's just like a physical lever that you use to ensure like if something happens, the hydroponic space is going to be pretty screwed. A lot of your plants are going to get sucked out, including Boris, who's probably hanging out in there. However,
No,
the rest of the
my
ship.
son.
got out.
I'm just saying that's where he normally hangs out. If you guys don't tell me,
It is.
Franklin too, though. I think.
Franklin hangs out in cryo.
Cryo.
Yeah, I thought he was in cryo.
You probably had to make space for him though. Make space for the new chambers.
That's fair.
Okay.
Maya, just yell at Boris to Roomba his way out, and then you're going to close the door.
So
Can I do
Maya has. I'm sorry, it's just a little too late for that. Maya has locked in 2 of your spaceship pets in the room that's about to have a hull breach. Dr. T.
What happens
and-
when I can't just throw money at the thing, guys?
Dr. T and Gita, you're both getting all of these reports from Zateas, and things are increasing. You can see that like there's some sort of increase in speed, and it corresponds to like Zatek's attack on the one of these. Zatek and Kill, both of you, if you wanted to roll a mechanics test to see if you can kind of identify what you're looking at here, as this thing kind of wrenches free, you can do that.
I would love to roll mechanics.
Okay.
It's basically just like a knowledge test to assess what the hell this thing is
15.
you're looking at.
Can I assist him instead?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You want to hit a 10, and that would give him a +1, which would get him to 60.
I'm still holding it, so I'm just trying to rotate it in a way that he can get a
and
better
it's
look
trying to drive away. So we're gonna have to do a little contested test here in a second.
11.
11's enough to give Kill a +1. Kill, these are automated mining drones, which they tend to be used and programmed to specifically drill into various asteroids. Different companies use them. These don't look. These are probably Dre. You think the Dre Mining Corp? Like they probably use some of these, but you can tell that they are certainly malfunctioning, as they're not supposed to be doing this to ships. You did just pass an asteroid like within the last hour. More than likely, they probably came from there. But these are those. Unexpected consequences. What I'll say is they're usually daisy chained to a degree. So like they kind of cascade. So like whatever thing happens to one, usually the others are also getting kind of that information in some way. So definitely the others probably are aware that one of them has suffered damage, is under attack or something like that.
Okay. I don't know why we have Dre mining drones that are trying to drill into our ship. Does anybody know how to send a signal to those to tell them we are not a fucking thing to be drilled?
That's what actually Gita was just going to ask when I got back around to her turn.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Can I
you could
support Gita with a culture or anything?
I'm gonna say no, because you have already taken and done an action in terms of like shutting the door, and so Dr. T has to take an action. Say the two of you are on the. If you two wanted to put your heads together, we can do that.
I'm good.
You could do computers or electronics.
Better at both of those than I am anyway.
I can do either one. I got a 1 in both of them. I would say, Vegeta, if we try to hack this thing, just tell them to to shut down, but to not leave, because they are also kind of plugging the holes right now that they made.
I see. Yes, Captain Doctor. That is very smart. Yes, will do.
All right, I'll roll.
So one of you's assisting the other? One of you's aiding the other?
Yeah, I think you're rolling in electronics to aid me. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just need a 10, Dr. T. CDT.
Captaining in... Wow.
That's a 15.
15? All right, I'll give +2 over to Jita on this roll then.
Sweet.
As the two of you, maybe with Zatek, as you're digging into databases, figuring out if you can find anything about public engineering schematics for these things, or anything like that. Go for it.
19.
Okay. Jita, you would know. Dr. T, you would also be able to help this out. That these mining drones, while they do malfunction, they don't usually malfunction in this manner. However, various Kaltoran mining families like to sabotage them, to sometimes turn back on their users, and this is likely what has happened. So they are definitely outside of their programming, and they've probably already been hacked and sabotaged to do this. So conceivably, if someone could get into the programming, the machine code for these things, and undo that hack, you could probably get them to realize that they are trying to drill into a hull of a ship as opposed to into rock. And so they would probably stop doing what they're doing. And with a 19, I would say you would probably have a general idea of how to do it. However, it would require someone to be physically present next to one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my question.
I will say, like, automatically, I'll say that I'll grant an assist to anyone trying to do that. Okay.
I'll try and plug in.
I can't do it from here. You got to do it from out there.
Okay.
All right. So Zatek, you hear this. You know that you have to try to find some sort of like control panel to try to get into like it's essentially internal computers. And because Kill knows these things are daisy chained, if you're able to hack into one of them and do this, likely that command is going to cascade through all of them. Okay. Kill, do you want to help at all with this before Zatek does it? You have to find a panel and then you have to do the hack. So Kill, what do you want to do?
I shot a hole in it. I gave you access. That helps, right? With the hacking, like to have the hole get into the thing.
You're looking intently at it, right, Kill?
I mean, I'll look at it. Fine. I don't know. What is that? Electronics or something?
Sure. Yeah. You probably have a better view of it in a strange way than Zatek does, as he's
all right stretched out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will use the 6 to reroll the 1. I'll actually come up with 11, 13, but -2, 12.
12? Okay. 12 is still enough. 12 is success. Like, you're good. You do notice Zatek is like halfway over top of it. Like I said, they're kind of rounded, but you could tell they're less rounded and more like they've got like octagonal sides to them. And one of those sides, you notice that one of Zatek's like tethers that is reaching down and wrapping around one of the struts is partially covering. And you see the very clear like sign of like a maintenance cover. And that's probably what it is, like right in there. And so you can kind of call that out as a tech on where that location is.
Okay. Exactly as planned. I reached the hull to give you access right there. I knew precisely what I was doing. It was an amazing called shot, and you're welcome.
Thanks. I'll start opening the hatch and try and plug into it.
Zatek, this is going to be electronics. Excuse me.
Okay.
This is going to be I'll take electronics or computers, to be honest. If you do computers, you can get a bonus from Jita because she specifically learned how to like hack into their programming. Electronics would basically shut it down. That's another tactic you could potentially try to do. So it's up to you. Different difficulties on these.
Okay. I might go for the computer. What was the bonus I'm getting from Jita on the computers?
You're just gonna get a +1. It's just gonna be a standard aid. She's just going to get a free aid, basically, for her unexpected consequences.
I'll go for that. that sounds more fun. I'm gonna grit that.
Okay.
Hey, that's better.
13?
13. Do I need to hit a 14?
You have a 6 in there. You can
I do
spend
have
that
a
6 to reroll.
Oh, and a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I automatically get it, but let's see what I got.
Okay. He spends all his pennies.
That's another 1, but I get the +1 for rerolling.
So you're at 14? 14 was a difficult...
14.
Okay, 14 was basically the difficulty to get it done on this turn before it shocks you again. And so with 14, you do manage to get in there, and you start, like, you can see it's not difficult programming. It's just essentially kind of assembly code. It's pretty basic relative to some more complex things that you maybe have had to work with. And so these things are like their routines are pretty straightforward. And you can just see like whoever screwed around with this added in some effectively like additional criteria in terms of when they're searching and hunting for a target, and there's specific criteria that they have to assess in terms to drill. All you really got to do is just start deleting a lot of that code. You can also see that they left behind various like coder messaging here and there. That's just, you can tell is like Kaltoran. Like you can tell it's Kaltoran stuff. You can see like there's an image of, yeah, they tagged it. There's like a little gear you can see there. And that you might even know what that's a reference to, but like there's a little kind of symbol of a gear and what almost looks like a rabbit's foot to the side.
Chip tune song out of the chip somehow.
And right as it's, like you can feel like the vibration as it's starting to charge up once more, and it just starts drifting at this point with you in it. All the other ones, one by one, you hear and Zateus gets on comms with Dr. T and Jita and Maya, since the three of you are inside the ship, and they say, and like Zateus says, hull degradation has stopped. So at this point, Zatek, you've managed to shut these things down. You are still kind of floating like a strange kite in space, connected to Kill. Inside, Jita and Dr. T, you've managed to kind of get this data about what these things are. Maya, you're right outside the hydroponics bay. What do you guys want to do?
Is the bay, like, was it destroyed? Oh.
You can give me like a computers test, maybe. As you're trying to like maybe get into the panel and see if you can read like what's going on inside. This is good for you. This is growth, Maya. This is good. This is personal growth.
That's a 12, but -2 is a 10.
Okay.
So I have a thing that I haven't used yet.
Okay.
If this can apply. So I have otherworldly. 2 times per session, I can surprise or enlighten others with my mysterious ways or ideas, and I can add +2 to a failed roll.
Cool.
Okay. So how does this manifest in the situation to help Maya out?
So if it makes sense, I was rereading that a little bit. So if there's a way that I can just throw some suggestion to her about how she might be able to kind of get this done a bit more effectively.
And what would that suggestion be?
So Maya, what were you trying to do exactly?
I am basically trying to figure out if the hydroponics bay is still usable or it's been destroyed. So I was trying to do a computer's roll to understand that without having to open the door.
And so I can give you a throw out computer babble, some subroutine, something or another that like you were trying to get into the computer from this direction, but the way to get that information is actually like over here. So like you were trying to get
all in lowercase.
Did you leave caps lock on again? All right. So Maya, what you do notice is that there does appear to be atmosphere. Doesn't seem as though like you can see that there's oxygen readings and everything through the door. Doesn't seem like there's anything to suggest that it's in terrible state. You will notice that the oxygen levels are lower than perhaps like some other places, like some like in the specific room that you're in right now. We'll say a hall leading to the bridge, because like there is a bridge the bridge is not too far from where you're standing. But you're sure that there's oxygen, and it doesn't seem to be depleting or anything like that. Do you want to open the door?
Save boars. Hashtag save boars in chat, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then if someone reminds me that boars is in there, that's what I'm gonna do. I will open the door and look for boars.
When you open the door, you see that protruding into the room by about 5 feet is a drill bit, and you can see that this whatever this machine was has actually punctured through the hull. It's still attached to the hull because it's just it's still there, but it's actually punctured through, and you can see that it's beginning to sort of spin back up at this point because you tried to hack them to get them and to delete that code. So it's actually starting to retract at this point. And Maya, you think you only have like mere moments before this drill retracts and opens up a giant hole that's going to suck you, the plants, boars, Franklin, all this stuff out. Unless any of you have a really good idea on how to prevent this.
Can I grab boars and fuck out of here?
Okay. Franklin's just...
Is this relayed to me?
Yeah.
That I'm still plugged into it. Is this relayed to me?
Yeah, can we try to update the instructions, maybe?
Absolutely. So Maya, you go inside.
Okay, I think you got it
tell everybody.
But you got it stopped, but they're retracting.
And they are. And you would see that, like, I'll say kill. You can probably see one kind of on the, still on the underbelly, but maybe a little bit more towards the rear of the ship. You can see there's another one down over by where the engines would be, the engine room would be. And it is starting to detach. You see it just pops right off and begins to sort of just float away in space at this point. And you can see these tiny little bursts of the thrusters as it's kind of reorienting itself once more. And so, like, all of these are starting to happen. Zateas can kind of confirm, like, this detached one, and they're all slowly detaching one by one. So you literally have seconds here to sort of do something.
The tech just have them disconnect their drills before they detach.
Yeah, knee-jerk reaction for kill is like to like take a knee, aim, and like shoot at the drill.
You can't see the one on the other side.
No, that's a different spot. Never mind.
That's a different one. Yeah, that's where Maya is. Maya's on the port side. Yeah, you guys are messing around on the other.
I'll take Captain Dr. T's orders and tell it to detach its drill from itself before.
Okay.
It leaves.
While
leave its drill bit
doing
behind.
that, I'm grabbing boars and
You're grabbing
I
boars.
didn't realize Franklin was in here too. What the fuck?
You reach down to grab boars.
Thanks for killing our
And-
pet.
Franklin looks up, Harriet looks up, and they're both like,
Can I grab them too with the other hand?
they're big. No. Franklin's huge. That's established.
Very
Franklin's very, very big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has two
Chuck,
heads.
I'm sorry.
Roll him over and just push him out the door, just like flip him on his back
Just
and
plug the
push.
hole with Franklin.
Yeah, I was
that
thinking
thought.
that.
Yeah.
Shell.
I'm so sorry.
Listen, if Franklin makes it through this, we know he needs to go faster. I am attaching a skateboard to his underside.
Sweet.
That was
All right.
amazing.
All right, Joe, how did you
boars.
do? It's a computer's
13.
test. 13? Do you want to grit that?
I
Audience
guess I
crit?
do if you're asking me.
I think you should.
I'm guessing you need a 14.
14 is to get it done this round. 12 would get it done after a moment for it to relay the command. So, like, if you want it instantly, without other issues.
Yeah, that's my last grit. So I can use an audience one.
Yes, you can. We have more.
Okay.
Got a 1 there. As long you just got to get rid of that 1.
Audience grit is a reroll.
Audience
of 1,
audience
so you're
bit is
just
a
rerolling the
reroll of
1.
1.
Oh, okay.
So it's just rerolling the 1. So you've got a 5, a 5.
Hey, 14.
Okay, 14 is enough. And you see Maya as this thing is starting to pull away. Like you can see the drill bit is starting to like rotate in the opposite direction, like it's about to pull back out, but then it suddenly stops. You hear like a series of like weird machine like grunts and grinds, and then all of a sudden there's like this little pop of a sound as like it reverberates in the hull, and nothing happens. Like the drill bit doesn't leave, like the hole doesn't open up. So whatever commands Zatek you think managed to do, like you did manage to get that sort of, you convinced it essentially that it had to get its drill bit replaced. And so it like let its drill bit go, and it stayed plugged into this hole. Okay, so
How does it look? Is it still on the ceiling?
No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
You put
Thank goodness.
Floors out and then like try and yank. Close the door just
get out of there.
in fucking
Just
case.
Just in case. So at that point, Zatek, if you want to let go of this thing, you certainly could. You can tell that like the drill bit has let go. You can see it's now floating in space. The drill bit in front of you, Kill, you can see it as well. The drill bit on the one that Zatek has grabbed is just floating out there. And you can see that there's the other one that had detached from the underbelly of the engineering is also detached its drill, and you can see it kind of starting to fly away. They have very localized basic thrusters, and so you assume that these things are just going to start looking around for and like searching for another rock to essentially attach itself to. But now that you've screwed with the code and deleted those additional directives, you're pretty confident it's not gonna like mistake another ship again. It's only gonna focus on like what the original design of these things are for. So we'll say that you're able to come back inside. You can see that you have a hull breach, but it's temporarily plugged within hydroponics bay. Franklin is okay. Harriet is okay. But they seem to be giving weird looks in Maya's direction. Whenever she passes by, you can see that the deacon this whole time has been taking notes, and the emissary is like whispering into the ear as if they've been observing Jita and Dr. T, or Captain Dr. T. But eventually you all come back in. The ship is still intact. You pull into the Liberty Belt, and we're going to end on you all arriving effectively in the sort of in the wake of the Liberty Belt gate. The thing about this gate is that it's not, just some random structure in the void. It's a gargantuan living Nephilim gate. And all of you see, like on your screens or out some of your viewing ports. I'll share it with you, and then I'll drop it in the Discord. And we'll say this is the last thing we see, and then we'll pause for tonight. Hang on, I got it somewhere.
Oh, goodness.
Aw, I just saw a picture of
Boars running around.
And so as you begin to drift through these last little lanes, you can see there's other ships that are moving in its direction. Some are coming from it. You can see little breaks of rock here and there. It's not like an extremely heavily trafficked area, but there are other ships nearby. You see this gargantuan-sized Nephilim with tentacles, Dr. T, that you could only dream of. And that's what we're going to go ahead and we'll end for tonight, and we will pick up there in a couple weeks as you guys enter in that portal and travel to the Kasuf system.
Oh, gosh.
That's large.
That's
It's enormous. It's a living Nephilim. Yeah.
Holy
I would
shit,
think that
that's
Dr.
so cool.
I would probably know. Maybe not seen it, but you know what? I just met my future ex-wife.
Their name is Karen. It's fantastic.
It all comes around.
That is how we join.
I feel like it's Karen, but it's
this
like
universe and our alien
text.
universe. Oh god. All right. Well, you guys left Alabaster. You survived a 4. So I made little tiny like random encounter stuff to make our travel more interesting. So it's not just like us in space being bored. And that was the 4. There were other numbers, but that was what we had for 4. Okay.
nice roll, my Trey. That was fun.
Thanks.
That could have been worse. I like it.
Believe me, could have been worse. Okay. So next time around, we're going to go through that big ass gate. And then we will travel in jump space for a little bit, and then we will hop into the Kasuf system. I'm also going to say to you all, I'm not suggesting this is going to happen next session, but you are going into a pirate-infested system. I've already stated that I do kind of want to try the spaceship combat rules at some point. I have updated our personal group primer. You might want to start looking over those just in case it happens. I'm not going to force it, but
So
just in case it happens.
In case.
Just in case it happens. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. It'll be fun. Maybe. Try it once.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We'll see what happens. All right.
It'll be fun. Try
Let's
it
go
once,
ahead.
they said.
It'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great. Let's go ahead and let's do some closing plugs. We'll get on out of here. Joe and Chuck, what you got going on with DOK?
Wednesday, we've got Night Below, Dungeon Crawl Classics. Friday, we've got my Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign. And then Saturday, we're scheduled for Weird Frontiers, the Chain Coffin campaign.
Fantastic. Very nice. Very nice. And don't you have do you have any more news with old Teenage Odyssey?
Yeah. I put an update out today because someone yelled at me for not putting out enough updates. We've got the first print copy in, and we found a mistake we had to get fixed. And so we're just waiting for the second copy to come in. And then once that is confirmed as good, surveys are going out. And then codes are going out. Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
Progress.
Almost there. Pretty close. Sounds like you're pretty close. Awesome.
Very close.
Looking forward to it. Okay. Next up, Trey, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Master Plays Games on YouTube, and I make system agnostic or multi-system, if you want to call it that, content about the Human Plays, Fans, and Tabletops that you should check out if you feel like checking out.
Fantastic. Links are in the chat. Links are in the show notes. Links are in the description, wherever it is or however it is you're watching this later. As for us, we are off tomorrow because Steven broke his contract. So we're taking Tuesday off, even though he is contractually obligated to be running a game on Tuesdays, and he decided not to because he's an asshole. There, I just said it. It needed to be said.
What?
We were all thinking he's not watching, so it doesn't matter. Next game after this is Thursday, where you can see myself, Melissa, Jeremy, as we were playing through some Simba Room. Friday, we got some Delta Green. And then Saturday, Call of Cthulhu, where the cops got into it, got involved in Mexico City. So things are. And Melissa got interrogated for a very long time by the cops, and she's in jail. And then next,
the night in the
that's what you get. That's what you get for lying to them. And then and then next Monday we got Alien, where you switch out Joe, we bring in Adam, play some Alien, and we see some good times. Okay. Let's go ahead and raid someone. We're gonna raid Happy Jack's RPG. They're playing some more space shenanigan fun, so we'll just go over there. Great issue night. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching this on stream or on VOD. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.